Some say they have seen a gigantic living being, several stories high. We're all going to die. Oh no, run if you can, 'cause Tokyo, Japan is in for big trouble. Looks like Godzilla is real, and once he gets here, he'll reduce things to rubble. There's no time to pack. Run and don't look back. Careful where you hide. Many won't survive. By now, he's well on his way, and you're gonna pay if you don't get to racing. But look up in the skies, we're facing demise from an alien invasion. Yes, he is destructive, and we hope he won't advance. But as it turns out, he might just be our only chance. Save the lizard, he will make a stand. City filled with screams and deadly laser beams. A full-scale attack. Can he hold them back? This is a dangerous place. The city's a waste. Battlegrounds epic. Both sides are pummeled and fried with nuclear eyes and death rays electric. Yes, he is destructive. We have seen this in the past. But as it turns out, it's an advantage that he has. Save the lizard. He will
Stones and reclaim its original power.
The air has gotten thick with broken glass and steel and brick. The aliens are no more. Hear Godzilla's mighty roar. And so the battle was won, and when it was done, he retreated to the ocean. And if we're ever attacked, I bet he'll be back, at least that's what I'm hoping. Yes, he is destructive, partly from gargantuan girth. But as it turns out, you know it could have been much worse. Save the lizard, he will save the earth.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the BroBryceHealth channel and the BroBryceHealth group on Facebook and Twitch, BroBryceHealth. And today I have with me a wonderful guest. We have nice, pleasant Sherry Atanasoff from the You Can Keto with Sherry Facebook group. I'm gonna kill this thing here, and there we go. We are live, and hopefully the video is a little smoother now. And we have over here, we have the Facebook chat, and up here we have the YouTube and Twitch chat. So for those of you who are interacting on those various platforms, Twitch and YouTube chat streamers should be able to see each other's chat up here in their own chat streams as well, because Restream replays those things. And today we have a wonderful focus, and that is we're going to focus on non-scale victories. And non-scale victories are things, this is what we call NSV, non-scale victories. And that means what, Sherry?
non-scale victories.
That means
Is not judging your success by the gravitational pull that the earth has on your body.
that's a fantastic way of putting it. That's pretty great because, yeah, the gravitational pull of the earth really doesn't have. I mean, it does have some effect on your life, but it can be kind of a bummer to your attitude. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So
I try to avoid the scale as much as possible these days.
that's one of the things that we're going to focus on today. And I don't know if you noticed in the group, but we've been really focusing on positivity. We've been really focusing on an uplifting attitude. We've been trying to focus on love and joy and happiness and being at peace with yourself in the health group. That's one of the things that we're trying to focus on. Today, we are going to, I'm just going to go briefly through my must say these things bit. We're gonna do our very best to answer any kind of questions that you guys have. This is a Q&A session. It's an open Q&A session. If you have any questions having to do with health or keto or nutrition or any of those things, we will do our very best to answer those questions. Not being doctors, though, we cannot give medical advice. And if you do need medical advice, you do need to seek out a medical professional, a practitioner of the medical profession, and that would not be us. However, I think both Sherry and myself have done at least 1,000 hours of studying.
At least.
I know I've done a few thousand hours of studying and just looking at the science, and I'm kind of an egghead. I mean, my head's shaped like an egg. It should be a giveaway. But I'm kind of an egghead when it comes to nutritional science. And when I decided to pull the trigger and go keto, I decided to learn the ins and outs. So I can't give medical advice, but I can really tell you like some of the science that actually is really out there, and I can actually point you to it, which is pretty great. In the pinned post on the group, you will also find many links to these things, as well as the description to this video on YouTube and Facebook. You will find links to some of that science that we speak of. But we can't give medical advice, but we are going to do our very best to, as amateur citizen scientists, to answer your questions anyway. And so today our focus is on non-scale victories. We will be giving away a book later on this hour, and I want to urge you to let me know if you're interested. If you haven't won a book in the last 4 weeks, then you're welcome to, at that point, let us know, and we will talk about it later this hour. But if you want links to the books that I have for giveaway today, those are in the description for this video. And anyway, on with our subject matter. We have a message here from, I think we have a troll. So thank you, troll. Have a great day. Let me see if I can, maybe I can play with that. I don't know. Anyway, you guys, our focus today is going to be on non-scale victories, and we are super happy to talk about this subject because there's so much more to our health journey than just weight loss.
Yes.
So, I know, Sherry, you said you constructed a list of various things. So what's the very last thing on your list?
I actually never wrote the list down. It's mental. As far as last being first or first being last, I have a lot more energy than I used to. And one of the biggest things for me, I've struggled with depression and anxiety my entire life. And I've cut my medications in half since I've started keto. Not noticed a negative difference. I've noticed a positive difference. Less depression, less anxiety, and I have a cat trying to knock the computer off, so hold on. And the other thing that I've noticed is I'm about ready to cut that pill in half again because I'm noticing that I just feel so much more balanced. So for me, that's one of my biggest non-scale victories is the fact that I'm not going to be dependent on medications to be mentally, emotionally balanced anymore. I'm using food.
Wow. That's a big thing. I know one of the people that we had do one of our Brighten Your Day videos this morning was Carrie Brown. Carrie Brown had battled with depression, chronic depression, most of her life, and then just very recently began with keto. She found a keto-friendly doctor and started with keto, and also found out through a DNA test that she had a very rare condition that caused her body to not be able to methylate, and so she was able to find a pre-methylated vitamin B, a B vitamin, and as soon as she started taking that and doing keto, like from her testimony, like she experienced happiness for the very first time in her life, which was that's pretty dramatic, and that has less to do with weight loss than maybe anything, but it can rule your life even more than your weight.
It can, and it did for many, many years. When you look at things through that fog of depression and anxiety, everything is completely different than to a person who doesn't have it. I've
never personally dealt with chronic clinical depression. I can say that I've had depression where, and I've talked about this before, I've had depression where I didn't understand what I was sad about or what I was upset about. I just knew that I was depressed, and it was a passing thing for me. But and I've never dealt with like the crippling, debilitating depression, but I have dealt with chronic pain to a massive degree, and as many people who I went to church with back before 2015, they would see me hobbling around at church, and they'd ask me, well, what's wrong? What's wrong today? What's wrong with you? What's hurting today? And that was always how it was. I was always limping. I was always hobbling. I was always, handling things with kid gloves because my hands, my feet, and my ankles, and my hips, and my back hurt all the time. And I had chronic migraines all the time. And for me, the non-scale victory of the day, for me, like the biggest thing that was, it ruled my life, because in 2010, I had to quit working for the post office. I had worked there for 17 years, and I was, I was already vested. I was, gonna be, there for retirement. I had a job that I loved, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I just could not hold down a job. And I spent most of my time in a recliner with splints on my ankles and on my wrists. And I don't do that anymore. I don't have that anymore. I may have, like, after a hard day of work, I may have to lay down for a little bit because I got a sore back, but then I get back up and I go for a bike ride and I go play at the arcade. And like that, just, living life when you have chronic pain, it's kind of like a thing that doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
And today I won't say that I'm 100% pain free, but I live my life. And I couldn't do that before. That's the biggest non-scale victory for me. And I'm here as a person who lost more than 100 pounds. And I'm telling you that 100 pounds is by far not the biggest victory in my life. Definitely the pain is.
Yes.
And I don't consider buying new clothes a non-scale victory. I really don't. Because I'm a guy. I hate to shop. But like, I hate shopping for clothes, and it's like a bummer. We have Potato Caleb. Welcome to the chat.
Hello.
And
I'm a non-typical female, and I've always hated clothes shopping, even when I could wear nice clothes. And another minor victory for me, for you ladies out there, I can shop in the normal sized clothing for my pants now. And it's kind of, I go in there and I stop and I just look around and I go, I don't even know where to look. I don't know where to start. It's been so long. But it's kind of fun at the same time because you have a lot more choices.
Yeah, that is one thing that's cool. Like, as I've always had big feet, so I've never had it easy buying shoes. I've, like 13s and 14s, and
I'm
it's
an
just,
11 for a female, so.
so yeah, you can
Yeah.
relate. And as far as like clothes shopping, what I found is like if you're buying triple XLs, right? If you're buying triple XLs, a triple XL is a triple XL. It's like
Yep.
they just make the shirt big enough to put a car in, and then you can wear it. Okay. And Potato Caleb's asking, what is this about? This our chat here is about non-scale victories. My channel is about health, weight loss. It's about curing what ails you with food. Really with just eating real food, and that's what this is about. And today we're not focusing on the weight loss itself pound for pound. What we're focusing on today in this chat is those we consider weight loss to be a side effect of good health. And
Yes.
we're going to focus today in our chat about those benefits of good health that you get outside of what shows up on the scale, outside of losing X amount of pounds. The benefits that you experience day to day, how you can appreciate life a little better, the various ways that you can appreciate life a little better. One of the things that I found challenging about buying like medium shirts is that they're all cut a little different, right? And
Yes.
and I have like super broad shoulders. Yeah, I wear a medium, but I have super broad shoulders, and so like I still find a lot of medium shirts that just have like, I end up with like these, like the arms are shrinky dinked or something. And it's, you know what, when I was buying triple XLs, that was never a problem. They
Right.
make them wide enough that, you don't even see your shoulders. And now that I have shoulders, it's like anyway. So I don't, a lot of people think that clothes shopping is a non-scale victory. I think, here's a non-scale victory. When you are changing clothes and you don't have to unbutton your pants. I know that's like TMI, but it's like, the fact that like that can happen now.
Yes.
It's just like, that seems very foreign anyway.
I pulled out, it was a month ago now, at least a month ago, all of my summer clothes because it's finally warming up here outside of Portland. And I had to get rid of I counted at least 30 pairs of pants because pulling them up, letting them fall down with everything still done up on them, the buttons and the zippers.
Yep. It's like the mermaid tail thing. You see that now on, I guess that's like a thing now where people just stand with both their legs in one pant leg. And
Yes.
I think I didn't save any of my old pants, but I think that maybe I could fit both legs into one of my old pant legs, possibly. I don't have any of my old pants.
Probably could. Yeah.
I could fit both Julie and I into one of my old shirts, though. I did do that. I put Julie and me into one of my old shirts and buttoned the collar. It was awesome.
I look forward to doing that in the future with Andy too.
Pretty awesome. So that's a joy. What's another thing that you took down for your list?
Being able to get out and do more things outdoors. My family loves to rock hound, and we like to just be out and go for walks, go to the beach, go to Central Oregon, and I would always get so tired I couldn't last more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And now I can get out there and I can do small hikes, and I can squat down and dig for rocks for longer. I can take longer walks in the sand on the beach, and I don't get exhausted.
Squatting.
Mm-hmm.
Squatting. There's a
Squatting.
non-scale victory. Like,
Yeah.
Can you remember the last time that you were able to like squat down and like sit on your heels?
And still breathe.
Yeah, and get back up.
Yeah.
Like get back up.
And I'm doing that with big rocks in my hand since we rock hound, and kids, hey, look at this one. I dug it out all by myself. I didn't need to have somebody come over and dig it out for me.
At work, we have these stacks of these heavy plastic totes that we haul back and forth, and and I'll grab like 4 or 5 of these things, a big stack of these things, and it's, I don't know, it's probably like 70 pounds of stuff, and like squat down and lower that down to the ground and drop it off and get back up, like actually stand back up and not fall over. That's amazing to me.
That's huge.
I think
I'm showing on my phone on Facebook, we've got Dory watching and Zelma watching. Are you seeing anything on yours popping up?
I'm looking at it on the PC. I don't get to see who's watching on the PC.
Okay.
But I can see a couple of hearts. I have Carol and Dory there.
Ah, okay.
A couple of hearts there. But for me, one of my non-scale victories as a guy is to be able to put my hands up and my front butt doesn't hang out from under my shirt. I think anybody who's losing weight knows what I'm talking about when I say front butt.
Yes.
Yeah, front butt.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great non-scale victory, just to have your, just to, because it's just like a thing that you're not even aware of, but you put your hands up, you're in church, you're praising the Lord, and yeah, the world sees the twin screen drive-in, and yeah.
Or for us ladies, it's the upper half of our torso can get uncomfortable if we do too much motion, and it's a lot nicer to not have to worry about that so much.
Right. Yeah, I find that that my pants and my clothes are more comfortable. I'm more comfortable in my own skin, I think. It's but one of the things that I used to love to do is I used to ride my bike. In fact, I didn't get a driver's license till I was 27. I rode my bike. Portland's a very bike-friendly town, or
Yes,
at least
it is.
I'm not. It may be even more bike-friendly. You might be able to get across town faster on a bike now, for sure.
There's way more traffic.
Yeah. But I rode my bike everywhere, and it wasn't unusual for me to ride my bike 30, 40 miles in a day to just, getting around town. It's not unusual for people to drive that much, but that's how much I used to ride my bike around town. And I didn't get a license. I didn't really need to until if you wanted to move, then you needed to borrow somebody with their car. But but I rode my bike everywhere, and I loved riding my bike. It made me feel great. And today I can get back on my bike, and I think I shared that last Sunday. Just getting on my little foldy bikes, and we bought a pair of his and hers foldy bikes, and we ride around the marina, and we throw them in the back of the car, and we just go for a ride, and it feels good. And what I love is how fast the body responds when you start pushing your limits a little bit. You stretch a little bit, and you push yourself to, maybe climb a little bit of a hill, or, that first time you come up the driveway on your bike, it's a little more challenging than you're really comfortable with. And it makes you question your confidence. And then the next time you do it, it's a little easier. And it's not that the hill got a little less steep. It's that your body responded relatively quickly to you stimulating it to grow muscles, and you're exercising because you're healing. You're not losing weight because of your exercise. We've already gone over that. Exercising for weight loss, I'm sorry to say, guys, it's a futile thing, and it
never worked for me.
Failure. It sets you up for failure, because when you don't lose weight, then you stop going to the gym. You know what? When you figure out how weight loss actually does work, and you experience some success with it, you'll get to where you feel good enough, and you'll just go to the gym because you want to.
Yeah. I have more of a desire to get out and go for walks or small hikes, or let's just get out of the house and do something. I've asked Andy a couple times, get my bike down and clean it up. I think I want to try riding my bike again. It's been a long time, and I think I would enjoy that.
I love how you say you ask Andy, get my bike down and clean it up. I love that. That's
I can't
awesome.
reach it. It's in the garage, way up above my ability to get it down. The garage is a scary man cave. I just don't even go in there.
Yeah, you know, every year I get out the bikes and I hit the chain with some chain lube and pump up the tires and get everything all geared up, and it just feels good to get out there the first time. And like today's Julie's birthday, and
Julie.
I asked her what she wants to do for her birthday. You know, do you want to see a movie? Do you want to, do this and she's like, well, I don't know, go for a bike ride. I'm like, okay, that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's 100 degrees outside. We could go bike riding. And she's like, maybe not. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe we could go bike riding. She goes, how about we go to the pool and go swimming?
Ooh.
Because we have a nice pool here at the apartment complex. And and I said, well, that sounds great. Let's go for a bike ride and then go swimming. And she's like, yeah, let's go swimming. And but it's like, there was a whole period of time where we just didn't do that because it hurt. And I went to the gym. Like, we had a lifetime membership for 24-hour fitness, and we went, I don't know, maybe 3 times a year, maybe. And the treadmill never lost me a pound. Like, it didn't ever lose me a pound. And I was like rocking that elliptical. It tells me I just burned 1,400 calories, and I'm like, wow, I just burned 1,400 calories. It turns out that 1,400 calories just didn't lose me a pound. I don't know how that works, but
it's just a number.
It's just a number.
I spent a year at a place I worked before I met and my husband and moved down here. So it was probably 2003. Every single day I would walk with a coworker, and we would walk anywhere from 1 to 3 miles, depending on our schedules, for the whole entire year. And I was watching what I ate by the standard American diet version. And a whole entire year, I didn't lose a single pound. I did gain a really good friend, but I did not lose any weight at all.
Yeah, that's a struggle. And you see, that's why it's important to focus on non-scale victories, because like even on keto, right, you can be going through a stall. And I like to tell people that if every time I stalled for months on end, which happened several times during my journey, if every time I stalled for months on end, I stressed out about it, then I would still be dealing with the chronic pain that came from the inflammation from all of the stress that I'd be giving myself about not losing weight.
Yep.
And
I've been theoretically stalled for over a month now and have not lost any weight. I'm going up and down the same 2 pounds, but I did measure myself and I'm down another inch. So I know something's happening the way it should be.
Right. And the tape measure is a much better gauge for what your actual weight loss is. Now, this shirt here, I can tell you that this shirt here, that you can see I am moving freely about the cabin, right?
Yep.
This shirt here, I was the same weight that I am now. And these, you know how it gets when your shirt is too tight and the little bits between the buttons, they kind of do this little stretchy number. And
with us ladies, we have to get a pin,
right,
and pin it.
and that was what was happening with this shirt. And even though technically I'm the same weight that I was several months ago when this shirt just barely fit on me, I am now able to very easily. I was sure when I put it on this morning that it was not going to be like friendly to me, and sure enough, like I was like, wait a minute, is this shirt too big? Yeah. Anyway, it's very weird.
Just right.
Yeah, non-scale victories, like keto problems. Your shirt's too big, even though it's the same size. And yeah.
You're saving a piece of clothing that you've liked for a long time that's been too small, and then you say, okay, I wonder if I'll fit into that finally now, and you pull it out and it's still big, you have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I have a few of those.
Yeah. That's one thing that's cool is like when you're still losing weight, which I don't really consider myself to be on my weight loss journey, so to speak, anymore. I've reached where I'm comfortable with. But when you're still like going through it and you're buying clothes, you can buy clothes that just fit you, right? And you're like, man, if this was like, if I gain a pound, this is going to be too small for me. But the cool thing is, if you're doing the right thing, it's unlikely you're going to gain a pound and have that thing be, you're only going to get a little smaller. So that shirt or that blouse or those pants or those shorts are going to fit you a little better in a little while. Yes. And what I call those is goal clothes. Some of the clothes, I straight up bought clothes that were like the smallest I've ever worn. And I knew they wouldn't fit me. Like I couldn't even get them up past my butt when I first tried them on. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stick those in the drawer and I'll come back to them in like a year and a half. And sure enough, like 8 months later, they pulled right up, fit right in them. And I was like, that feels pretty great. Bought some clothes knowing that you would get there and you got there. That's a non-scale victory.
Yes. It is. I have a t-shirt from a concert that I purposely was about a month and a half into keto and I knew it would be too small. So I got that shirt because it is significant to me and I put it up on my shelf. And I know I'm not there yet, but I'm guessing, 3-4 months from now, that shirt's going to fit pretty good.
What concert was it?
Rend Collective.
Rend Collective, yay! Right on. I think of Thomas with his little, the wooden stick instrument thing that we used to play on stage when we do the Rend Collective songs.
Yes. In that song, we still sing it in the church, and even the adults act like they want to get up and jump up on their feet.
I know, it's awesome. One of these days, I'm gonna have to get them doing that down here in Reno.
Oh yeah. Make sure it's one that they record that one so we can watch it.
That'll be fun. Yeah, that's another thing is thinking about like playing music for me. I've always played sitting down. I've always played guitar sitting down, and to me, in fact, it was funny because like today I was playing and I was playing with a strap standing up. I never play standing up. And to think of the idea of just standing in one place for an hour or two, just standing in one place and singing songs and you're wearing a guitar that's like, 15, 20 pounds and you're playing songs and singing which requires a lot of energy.
It does.
And I'm up there doing that. Of course, I like there was some serious clunkers today, but the fact that I did that and like I didn't even notice any pain in my feet, whereas it used to be that was one of my biggest things. I had chronic plantar fasciitis, and I remember in I think it was 2009. I think it was that a doctor told me, a podiatrist told me that he was going to have to put steroid injections in my heels. And I said, well, since that's not going to happen, what's plan B? And he goes, no, really, you need to get, you have plantar fasciitis, which is inflammation of that, the fascia, the tendon in your foot. And I says, yeah, well, I have a lot of friends who've had cortisone injections in their joints, and a lot of them have joints that are breaking down now.
Yeah.
And I believe it to be a result of some of that intervention. And he says, well, that's nonsense. And, I said, well, whatever the case, I'm not going to get an injection in my heel. And he says, well, your only alternative is you can get some hard insoles. And so he wrote down what I needed and where to get it. And I went and got it. And on my way out, he says, I'll see you again soon. And he was sure that he was going to see me again soon, and that he was going to end up giving me some. We got a cat tail. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Hi, Brooke. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, Brooke.
Brooke's waving. Brooke's our Monday girl. You guys will be seeing Brooke's smiling face tomorrow in one of our brighten your day messages. Brooke's message last week about being still was so fantastic. So
that was really good.
Anyway, like just the ability to stand on my feet, and and I'm wearing like really relaxed shoes. I'm not. I have to wear wide shoes, but I'm wearing super relaxed shoes. Like these shoes you would not say are like supportive or anything. And I'm standing up there for like 2 hours pretty much straight between rehearsal and playing, and I didn't even notice my feet. You just accidentally deleted your video for tomorrow? Oh no. What you got to do, Brooke, is you got to go into your trash can and retrieve that. She probably did it on her phone, so it's probably no trash can. Oh no. Sometimes I remember, I've done a lot of videos. As some of you know, I've done thousands and thousands of videos. And many times I put a whole lot of work and editing time and all of that into a job. And then it turns out like I screw something up and I like nuke the whole thing. It turns out that a lot of times when you go back and you revisit it, even if it's a video that you're just talking to the camera and it's a one-off and you're not editing it, a lot of times you'll find there's something that you thought of that you wanted to say and you found a better way to say it the second time anyway, or there's something that you found yourself repeating in what you said and you go back and you revisit it and you end up saying it in a more streamlined way. So a lot of times the second time you go through something, even though you're like super heartbroken that you just lost all that work, sometimes that second revisit to it just turns out like so much better than the first time through anyway. So
sometimes it's for a reason.
She says, I deleted my trash can. Oh no, no deleting trash cans.
Don't want to do that.
Anyway, sad face. It'll be better.
She also said she healed from bladder disease with keto.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that is fantastic. That's definitely a non-scale victory. My mother-in-law, as many of you know, I've told the story time and time again. She had borderline total kidney failure. She had 13% kidney function, and guess what she has now?
Functioning kidneys.
Totally normal kidney function. And she's 71 years old this year, I think. And should be 72 this year. And her nephrologist told her that will never get better. We never see that. It never happens. And guess what happened? She has totally normal kidney function now. And one of the things that I was like really concerned about, like I would like for her to be able to take like regular over-the-counter, painkillers if she wanted to. She has a lot of chronic pain still. She has back pain, and she has back injuries that she suffers greatly from. And she takes a prescription painkiller daily for that. But at the time, she was taking so much of it that it was really problematic. And her kidney doctor said, well, she can't take anything else because, it's going to be really rough on her kidneys. Well, now, she's on a diet of like Spam and eggs every day. Spam. Spam and eggs, guys. I'm not joking. Spam and eggs with cheese and cream cheese in it. And then she has cream cauliflower and cream broccoli like now I'm not talking like twice a week. I'm talking every single day. Okay. Every day. And totally normal kidney function, eating more fat than you've ever seen on a plate. And there's a non-scale victory. Eat all the fat you want. Like you could put butter on your steak. I do. We did that last night. We put butter on our steak, and it's like that's a non-scale victory. You don't have to worry about butter being on your steak.
One of my favorite keto meals that I crave a lot lately is roasted chicken wings till they're nice and crispy, and then you melt butter, put Frank's Red Hot in it, stir it up together, and dump it over the chicken. That is one of my favorite meals. And it's easy.
I have a recipe for buffalo chicken adobo, so to speak. Buffalo chicken adobo that's on my BroBryce Cooks page. It's like the first video I ever did. And it's like Parmesan cheese, sriracha sauce, and the Costco packs of Foster Farms grilled chicken strips. It's like the most bachelor food you've ever seen in your life, and it's just like nom 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 nom. Brooke's making
that sounds so good.
Brooke's making vomit faces. She says interstitial cystitis. Dang, I'm not even sure what that is, and it sounds gnarly.
Well, cystitis means there were cysts, so
right.
That's painful. Because my PCOS is pretty much gone.
That's one thing. Like, I don't know a whole lot about polycystic ovary syndrome, except for one thing. I know that people who suffer from it, they don't suffer as much from it on keto. And even though one of the things that I talk about a lot in this group is that inflammation triggers a multitude of symptoms. And someone may say, well, I never gain weight, I eat all the bread I want and I never gain weight, but suddenly they come up diabetic, or suddenly they come up with PCOS, or suddenly they come up with an autoimmune disorder like Takayasu's arteritis or something like that. And inflammation is the thing that triggers virtually every autoimmune disorder known to man. Virtually all of them are triggered by inflammation. Now, you may not be able to cure that autoimmune disorder, but if you can resolve the chronic inflammation that triggers it all the time, doesn't that mean that you'll probably suffer, at the very least, a lot less from that autoimmune disorder than you used to? And perhaps for some people, it may end up, just as far as symptom wise, it may just end up resolved. And it doesn't mean that you got rid of the autoimmune disorder. It just means you got rid of the thing that triggers it all the time, and you basically don't suffer from it. And I had a conversation with a doctor about that. He says, well, you seem to think that keto, is going to be like, it's going to cure multiple sclerosis. It's going to cure, all these different things. I said, it may not cure those things, but a lot of those things are triggered by inflammation. And if you can fix the chronic inflammation, doesn't that mean that the person suffers tremendously less from whatever disorder that they have? And doesn't that mean that their life is dramatically improved? And he goes, yes. And I was like, there you go. That's if there's a selling point, that's it. Prolong your life. Isn't keto a healing state? I believe it is. And like Brooke has specific dietary restrictions, and some of those, like dairy and eggs and those things, may trigger some various autoimmune responses. But it may be true that over time, I know for me, this was a progressive thing. Less inflammation means less symptoms. Over time, this just becomes a more therapeutic thing, and you experience less and less of these symptoms. It may be possible that over time, you may get to a place where you eating those things. I hate to say this, in moderation. Eating those things in moderation may actually be okay. You may be able to enjoy those things on occasion when some of that inflammatory response is reduced. Your skin has changed and gotten younger. Mine has too, except I still can't. I still got these. Man, I got these fissures across my forehead. Absolutely, like fissures. I feel like one of the old guys in the balcony in the Muppet Show. Why do we always come here? Anyway.
Well, I'm hitting a big 0 birthday in September, and I feel younger hitting that one than I did the one 10 years ago.
There you go. I think I feel the same way. Like, I know how I felt when I was 40. I'll be 48 this year. I know how I felt when I was 40 because I had to quit the post office when I was 40. I know how I felt when I was 40, and I know that when I hit 50, I'm going to feel a hell of a lot better than I did when I was 40. I'm going to feel like 10 years younger than I did when I was 40, and I'm 10 years older.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel, because that's me. I'll be hitting 50 in September, so, and I don't feel it.
That's right. Party time, Brooke. We're all gonna party this year. Oh my gosh. So I love this. I love this chat. We're coming up on 12 minutes from the top of the hour. I'm gonna give away a book. So if any of you have not won a book from me in the last 4 weeks, all you have to do, if you look in the description and you see all of these books listed in there. I also have 2 other books in addition to those. I'm not going to list them all, but I will list these other 2 that are not in the list, and that is the Dr. Atkins Carbohydrate Gram Counter. This is a little mini book, and it is from 2002. So, but a lot of food has not changed in that amount of time. Some of the crappy food you used to eat is still crappy, and some of the good food that you used to eat is still good. So you have the Dr. Atkins Carbohydrate Gram Counter. This is a good like pocket thing to have around, because a lot of people, they just don't even know where carbohydrates come from. They just don't. Like, they don't even have like a clue. People say, well, you can eat potatoes, right? No.
Sweet potatoes are healthy, right?
Well, breads don't have any sugar in them. Oh, they're never mind. Okay, so these books will help you with that. And this is also the Corinne Netzer's Complete Book of Food Counts. And I think this one is 2003. Am I right? Let me see. Pretty close to the same. Yeah, 2003. So 2002, 2003, Complete Book of Food Count. This one is considerably thicker. And lots and lots of information. And in fact, there are some entries here for fast food restaurants and stuff like that. There's also the long list of books in the description on YouTube and Facebook. Blazing Beats asked this question: Bryce, what was your heaviest weight and what do you weigh now? At my heaviest weight, I was 285 pounds. That's the heaviest that I documented myself. And I weigh 285 pounds now. So at one point I lost 117 pounds, and then I gained some back, and I'm actually just kind of sitting there at actually pretty comfortably at 185 pounds. I lost 168 pounds at the end of doing the bacon experiment twice, but that was eating 2 pounds of bacon a day and nothing else. And I'm just here to tell you that I'm not gonna go through the rest of my life just eating 2 pounds of bacon and nothing else. Just saying. So
bacon is good, but
bacon is great, and I have a whole new appreciation for bacon since I stopped eating it every single day, all day. So, I think you appreciate bacon more when you don't eat only bacon. Anyway, so what is your biggest non-scale victory? The biggest, the baddest, the biggest thing, maybe emotionally or happiness wise or life fulfilling?
My biggest I think is the fact that keto has helped me break my addiction to food, sugar, carbs. When you get depressed, when you have emotional issues, when you're having a bad day, I don't need to go run down and grab a pint of ice cream or a bag of cookies or whatever. I rarely have that craving anymore. And so breaking that addiction and saying, I don't need that. I'm going to go eat a piece of bacon, or I'm going to go make myself a coffee with some whipping cream in it and a little cocoa powder. That is so freeing. And so, I don't know, it just makes you feel lighter. And I think that's probably the biggest success that I've had in the last 4-ish months.
You know, I think some people would say some people think that that's like a cliche thing that a lot of people doing any kind of weight loss program would say. But there's actually a physiological reason for what Sherry just said. Here's what it is. Stress causes cortisol the stress hormone. Your body's response to cortisol is to try to counter it with insulin. Insulin lowers your blood sugar, so you have sugar cravings. Suddenly you have to go get that pint of ice cream that you know is in the fridge. You know it is because you put it there, right?
Yeah.
And then the cycle continues. And because you're eating carbohydrates and your blood sugar is doing this, a roller coaster, then you're more prone to, when your blood sugar is doing this up and down business, to get stressed out, to have an emotional response. You're more likely to have an emotional response. And so your stress, if you get stressed, is going to be exaggerated. It's going to have the exclamation point. Exclamation. I can say exclamation. I can. You say that I can't, but I can say exclamation. It puts the exclamation point on your emotional response, and then that cortisol is that much more exaggerated. The insulin response is that much more exaggerated. So it's this roundabout that happens as a result of that. So there really is a physiological reason for it. And the reason why keto breaks that is because first off, one of the biggest things you got to do is get the sugar out of the house.
Yep.
Get it out there.
I did a whole cupboard cleaning. There's very little left.
When you know that you did not put the ice cream in the freezer, and in fact, you know that you took the ice cream out of the freezer, then the next time you will go back to the freezer and look in there to find out if you left one. But when you find out that it's not there and you're too freaked out to want to go down to the store and get some, then you're going to stifle that for a moment. And over time, it's going to become less and less and less and less and less and less. And that sugar roller coaster stops happening, and you end up with a much more stable blood sugar. You end up with a less of a cortisol response, less of an insulin response, less of a low blood sugar response. So that roundabout is, you still have those ups and downs. Everybody does, but it's a more natural level and not this artificially elevated level that you normally have. So it's not just cliche. Keto people really experience this for a real scientific physiological reason. Blazin says, great weight loss. I'm going to try to do the same thing. I need to lose about 60 pounds. And then, Blazin, then what will you do? Once you've lost the weight, then you will focus on the non-scale victories, like what we've talked about this whole hour.
Yes.
The 60 pounds is going to be like a pleasant side effect. Trust me, when you experience the other things that we talked about this hour, when you experience some of those other things, that leveling out of the blood sugar, the more comfortable clothes, the being able to go out and be more active. I'm telling you, reduce
medication. Yeah.
You remember when you lost your first 12 pounds? Remember what I did?
Yep, you pulled 12 pounds of butter out and put it on your table and took a picture.
Right. I pulled out 12 pounds of butter, and you'd be surprised what 12 pounds of butter. So if you take that, you say, Blazin, you need to lose 60 pounds. You take that 12 pounds of butter. That's 12 of those packs of butter. You take 5 times that and put that on your table and take a picture of that. That is what you will have lost when you lose the 60 pounds. Because that is, when I put the 12 pounds of butter on the table, that's 12 pounds of fat.
Yes.
Nothing else, just fat. They say that protein weighs more than fat. It's, it's more, 12 pounds of feathers weighs the same as 12 pounds of lead. 12 pounds of fat weighs 12 pounds. And when you pick it up and you hold it for a minute, just hold it for 30 seconds even, and you feel how tired you are from holding on to that gives you a real reality check of what you carry around every day. You think about 50-pound bag of potatoes. Think about how hard that is to haul across the room. You've ever taken a 50-pound bag of potatoes. I used to have to do it every day. I worked at Orange Julius, and we had three flights of stairs up to the storeroom where we had to put the potatoes when we got them in off the truck. Holy mackerel.
Oh, wow.
You're carrying 3 or 4 of these 50-pound bags of potatoes up 3 flights of stairs. You know it when you're done. But when you think about like what that weighs and how hard it is to carry around, that's what you carry around every day. Your legs, your back, your shoulders, you're carrying that around. Like I found that like a vast quantity of fat was on the back of my shoulders, which really pisses me off when I'm looking in the mirror because I can't see the back of my shoulders and I'm trying to like get a bead on, like, do I look a little better? I can't really see the back of there's nothing I can do to see what the back of my shoulders look like, but I know that it's not there anymore. My shirts hang straight, and 60 pounds, you're going to congratulate yourself and look at it visually as opposed to on the scale. Look at it visually. When you really, like I said, put that 12 pounds on the table, 12 pounds of butter on the table, that'll really give you a bead on what 12 pounds of fat really looks like. And it's less having to do with the scale and more having to do with, you're going to see more in your measurements and more in your clothing.
Yeah. And if you don't have a tape measure, do like a lot of people do and get string, get a cheap thing of yarn and cut it off every week and see how much smaller the yarn or string gets every week.
Use a new string every week, in fact.
Yes.
I say use a new string every week and tape the old one just underneath the new one. And then as you tape them, you'll see as you move up what the new string looks like. That's a great way to do it. The string thing is pretty awesome. And your shoe sizes, as your shoes get looser, and you have to buy new shoes.
Yes.
Because you won't believe how much your feet will shrink. It's really bizarre.
Yes, my feet have shrunk.
Hey, Vengeance! Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. You missed the troll. We had a troll earlier. We had a Trump troll. That was pretty interesting. But as we approach the top of the hour, we have like 1 minute left. Sherry, what are your final thoughts as far as keto non-scale victories or any kind of lifestyle non-scale victories?
I would just say, don't take things for granted and look at every little thing and appreciate it. Non-scale victories can really add up to be the bigger picture if you're just starting out and you want to lose weight. And don't give up if you get stuck somewhere, whether it's weight loss, whether it's like with me, I'm still struggling with my blood pressure. I know it's going to get better. So I look at it with that attitude of it is going to get better as long as I keep doing keto and I keep living this lifestyle. Then it's just going to keep improving. And that affects not just me, but everybody around me too, my family and friends, in a better way.
Right on. And living by example, and people see that your health gets better and they wonder, how did you get better from whatever it was that you were suffering from? You know, all the people that have spoken in here today have had something different that they've been working on, be it weight loss, be it PCOS, be it interstitial cystitis, be it kidney disease, diabetes, all these different things. And if one approach addresses these things, even just these things, if it addressed nothing else but just these things that we mentioned, and we already know because we've done the homework, it does address far more than this. This is just scratching the surface. But if just the people that you saw here today chatting with us today are experiencing some victories over their maladies because of keto and not just weight loss, these are completely outside of the weight loss part, then isn't it really worth a try? It's worth giving it a shot. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. And I want to give a big shout out to Sherry over at You Can Keto with Sherry. You will find the link to her group in the description here on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you want to go over to her group and request to join her group, it's a fantastic group. It's a small group right now, but it's with some really earnest people who want to get better from everything that's been plaguing them with life, and they want to help others get better. So feel free to ask Sherry if you can join her group. And she's also an admin over in my group, BroBryceHealth.info. Check that out if you want to. And I also want to give a big shout out to Vengeance, who is normally our mod over on the YouTube side, but he's a latecomer. But shout out to you anyway, and Sherry for moderating from the Skype side, and to Brooke for chatting with us. Thank you guys, and hey to Blazin'. Y'all have a great night, and we will see you next week right here on the BroBryce Health channel. Have a great night. Bye bye, Sherry.
Bye.
She runs into the room and all heads turn. Not knowing if she looks so hot, they can't also feel the burn. The temperature is rising and the sprinklers turn on. The time I saw what happened in my mind, it would come true though before long. I'm not blind, girl, I must confess. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress. I need a